What's up? Welcome to another show of the Tina Parker Show. Another episode of the Tina Parker Show. Y'all, today we're going to talk. Actually, this is my second one today. I'm on fire, aren't I? The truth about money, why banks are saying we don't have any, and what's coming next. Okay, I'm here. I'm your guide. All right. I want to make sure that you start to see or hear some rumblings. You know what it's about. Okay. In this episode, I'm going to break down the truth behind what's happening in Europe, all right, why some banks are saying they don't have any money, and how this ties into what's already happening in the United States. You will learn the truth about money, how most of it isn't really physical at all, and how to protect your confidence, relationships, and future in this new financial era. Okay, I was fed this message today. And it's probably because I'm talking a lot about banking. And so let's watch it.
Woman rocked up to her bank to withdraw cash, only to be told they didn't have any. Taryn Compton wanted to grab some notes to pay a trade.
Actually, that didn't work. Hold on.
When she got to the ANZ ATM, she realised she'd forgotten her EFTPOS card when she asked the teller for the money instead. She was told
I have to wait till it goes all the way through. Hold on just a moment.
In the bank, if there's no cash, isn't there like if you open up the safe, what's in there? How did they explain it to you?
Maybe what I'll do is I'll just do this.
I'm so sorry, we can't help you.
I will just do this.
There's nothing we can do. We don't have cash here. So did you think maybe that was a temporary situation? That maybe they were going to get some cash tomorrow?
All right, here we go.
She actually said, we don't carry cash anymore.
If it were me, I walk into a bank, they told me that would be the last day.
Oh, can you not see it?
Until all the banks don't have cash. Then, folks,
I think we're in a little bit of trouble. Don't let them get rid of cash. Don't let them get rid of cash.
A local woman rocked up to her bank to withdraw cash, only to be told they didn't have any. Taryn Compton wanted to grab some notes to pay a tradie, but when she got to the ANZ ATM, she realised she'd forgotten her EFTPOS card when she asked the teller for the money instead. She was told the bank doesn't carry cash.
So what's in the bank if there's no cash?
All right, let's try this again.
You open up the safe,
we'll get it.
How did they explain it to you?
They just said, I'm so sorry, we can't help you. There's nothing we can do. We don't have cash.
All right,
here.
we want it to be.
Maybe that was a temporary situation. That maybe they were going to get some cash tomorrow. No, she actually said, we don't carry cash anymore.
If it were me,
I want to say,
a bank, they told me
this is how. Let's see
day.
if it works.
That was my bank.
Shoot.
Until all the banks don't have cash, then, folks, I think we're in a little bit of trouble. Don't let them get rid of cash. Don't let them get rid of cash.
Well,
a local woman rocked up to her bank to withdraw cash, only to be told they didn't have any.
Here's what I'll do. Okay, where did I go? I will splice that in. Okay, I just foobarred that whole thing. It didn't work right. All right, well, bottom line, I will redo this video and splice it in the final one. Okay, I have to do that a little different. But let's go. So basically what it was is it's a video of the real Brad Lee, and he's sharing a clip from some folks in Europe. And they're saying that some lady went into a bank. She went to withdraw cash, and they told her, we don't have any cash here. And she couldn't believe it, And what would you think? I mean, any of us, if we go into our bank and they tell us they don't have any money, that raises concern, right? So I'm going to fill you in more on that. Bradley in the message, he says, we don't ever want the banks to get rid of cash, and I think that we need to have cash for businesses, you need it as a business owner to operate. Not everyone is on digital currency right now, but I'm going to share the truth about actual physical dollars. Okay, so many things, you guys, that we think is real. Oh, it's just crazy. Okay, I'm going to tell you the truth about money. It's not all physical. And how to protect your confidence, relationships, and future in this new financial era. When banks say we don't have any money, okay, if that happens, this is where I'm going to splice in Bradley's message. So this is a viral clip from Europe showing a woman visiting her local bank and being told, we don't have any money. Okay, what the banker meant wasn't that the bank was bankrupt, but that they didn't keep physical cash on hand. Okay, many European banks are cashless, you guys. We haven't seen that here in the United States, but it's already happening in Europe. Okay, they operate digitally and rarely hold much physical currency. Okay, most people in the US don't even realize that. Imagine, you know, if you can't wrap your head around this, so imagine your school or job saying, we don't keep cash in the register, everything's online. That's exactly what's happening with many banks now. Okay, they just don't keep any cash in the register. You could go to a business at one point, because if they start going digital, and they might say we don't keep cash, you got to pay with card. I've actually had that happen before. So that's exactly what's happening. And I'll tell you, I believe it's going to happen in the US. It's just a sign that it's coming. This is a warning sign of what's to come, and a world where money exists mostly in computers, not in your hands. Why it's already happening? Well, they're saying it already is. Well, I will say it's more like the Fed. This is crazy, okay? Me doing research. The US banking system is following the same pattern. Fewer branches, fewer tellers, and less cash held on site. Based on my experience over 20 years in the financial services industry in the United States, I'll just say in Utah, all the branches have a limit. I mean, some people think we have this massive vault, which we do, and we just store gobs of money. That's not the case. In fact, if you want a large sum of money, you got to call in advance, because we have to order it from the Fed. You know, you come in and you say, I need to withdraw $50,000. Even if you said you needed to withdraw 25,000, we're going to ask you to let us know in advance so we can order it and get it delivered to the branch. The branches don't keep the amount of money that you guys think they do. Okay. They all have amounts. Each branch has their own amount based on the activity that they've seen. They have history of how much money they go through in a week, in a day, on particular holidays, before Christmas, all the things, okay? They know by history what we tend to go through. And so they order enough cash based on that. That's it. Okay? That's it. So if you wanted to withdraw a lot of money, a lot of times you have to order it anyway. So I don't know if that's the case, but there are, if you do your research, you'll find that in Europe, they don't keep cash in their branches. They've already went away from that. So the US banking system is following the same pattern. We are seeing consolidations. We're seeing fewer branches, fewer tellers, and less cash held on site. Some banks even advertise cashless locations. You know what? I went to a Wells Fargo, and I don't think they might have had one teller there, but basically it was like 2 employees, you know, one that handles like loans, or, you know, you have a desk and they help you there. And then maybe there was a teller way in the further down the hall, but I didn't see the teller. But I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't have cash. The Federal Reserve digital payment system, the FedNow, is already live, a step toward real-time digital dollar system. Okay. America isn't going digital. It already is. Can you guys believe that? All you folks that thought, I'm against crypto, I'm against going digital, we're already there. We are already there. The more I learn, it blows my mind. There's things that I'm learning now that they never told us in the banking system unless we were to deep dive, you know? And I had no reason to deep dive about the Fed. Most of the money in your account doesn't exist as bills. It's a number on a screen. Check this out. Before COVID, the Fed ramped up the numbers on the balance sheet. Okay, so you might say they printed money. Okay, they didn't print physical money, y'all. They don't, but they ramped up the balance sheet to help because they knew what was to come. They knew that we were going to have the pandemic. They knew that we were going to have issues with folks and they were going to need to pay money out and businesses and all the things they knew. So they just typed numbers and adjusted the balance sheet to adjust for that. Okay. Well, then after the pandemic, shortly after, they were like, well, we have too much on the balance sheet. So some people will say that they destroyed money. They're not destroying physical money. All they did is change the balance sheet. Guys, it's digital already. It is digital already. Okay. Now they're talking about changing the balance sheet again. Okay. And when they do this, it's affecting our economy. It's affecting oil. It's affecting housing rates. It's affecting everything when they play with the money like that. All right. So here's the truth about money in the Fed. During the pandemic, the Federal Reserve added trillions of dollars to the financial system by increasing reserves. That money wasn't printed on paper. It was typed into the digital system. Later, to control inflation, they started removing some of that money, not by shredding cash, but by reducing those same digital entries. Any of you do accounting, you know, you can just play with the numbers, okay? That's all they're doing. They're adding them and taking them out. I always thought they actually printed physical money. Think of the Federal Reserve like the scorekeeper of a giant video game. Okay, they can add or subtract points to keep the game balanced. Those points are dollars, and while they aren't real coins or paper, everyone agrees to play by the same score. So here's a little takeaway for you on that. Money today isn't backed by gold. It's backed by trust. That'll blow your mind, right? Money today is not backed by gold. It is backed by your trust. So everyone that is so afraid of physical cash going away, it's not backed by anything, folks. Okay? It's just backed on people believing it's not even real. Okay? As long as people trust the scorekeeper, the Fed, and each other, the system works. When trust breaks, everything changes. How well do you trust things right now? How well do you trust the healthcare system? How well do you trust the religious leaders? How well do you trust politicians? I mean, come on. I've lost a lot of trust, and that's why I'm speaking out, okay? Because I'm a protector of the vulnerable. I don't know if you guys know that about me, but that's who I am, okay? Why this creates both fear and opportunity. When people realize their money isn't physical, some are going to panic. They worry it can be frozen or lost. But this shift also creates an opportunity for people who can help others adapt. Hi, I'm your navigator, okay? Think of me and you're in a dark tunnel and I've got the flashlight, all right? I'm going to help you adapt, diversify, and rebuild your financial relationships that are rooted in trust and real relationships that care. The old system was built on control. Think of the richest billionaires out there, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, all those guys, okay? Think of Bill Gates. I believe all of them are involved too, okay? Think about that. That was all built on control. The new one is going to be built on connection and collaboration. Mark my words. So here's what's coming next. Expect more digital transactions, fewer cash options, and more fintech involvement. Okay, expect some banks to consolidate or fail. I've already mentioned that. Expect, especially those that are over leveraged. Okay, any one of those banks or financial institutions that are 90% or over loan to deposit, it's a red flag. And guess what? You can go to the FDIC, okay, or NCUA, and you can look at their balance sheets. You can see how many deposits they are, how many loans they have, what their charge-offs are. You can see how things look, their operating expenses, okay? Expect people to look for trusted guides who can help them navigate safely. This is not a time for fear. It's a time to learn. You can't control the system, but you can control your knowledge, your network, and your choices. you know, like I said, I've been in banking for over 20 years. I built, um, you know, I was, you know, in banking before we were branding, you know, and bankers didn't really brand. They just kind of are, everything is quiet and you don't really talk about what's going on in the branches or what you do. I don't know. I think it's dumb. But I believe that everything is based on relationships. And I'm going to help people adapt and connect people with the right people that they need to operate their business, to build their wealth, help their family, all of that. That's how I was so successful. Okay. I've been in the inside and I'm here to walk you through to the next era. So, when the world says there's no money, I'm here to remind you that real currency is trust. Okay, it's not physical cash. Okay, I don't even know what's gonna happen with, you know, there is cash in the branches, but it's not amounts that you think. Okay, and remember that everything is digital. They're not printing money. They're just putting in numbers to make it look good. All right. I'm here to help rebuild that trust one relationship at a time. So if there's any questions that you have, if you need anything, I'm not here to slam people. I'm here to just share truth. And I think that a lot of people are deceived, and I don't like that. And so I'm just here to help people as a guide and build relationships and connect people with the right people. And I believe that's my calling here. If there's anything that I can do to help you, you just message me. I love you, and you have a great rest of your day.